The secret meeting that changed rap music and destroyed a generation. Damn. So it says, hello. After more than 20 years, I finally decided to tell the world what I witnessed in 1991, which I believe was one of the biggest turning points in popular music and ultimately American society. I was invited to attend a closed-door meeting with a small group of business insiders to discuss rap music's new direction. Rap music's new direction. Yeah. Little did I know we would be asked to participate in one of the most unethical and destructive business practices ever seen. Crazy. So this was the meeting. The meeting was held at a private residence on the outskirts of Los Angeles. I remember about...
Keep trying to tell ya, some wicked shit goes down out in L.A., bro. Some very wicked shit goes down in L.A.
25 to 30 people were being there. Right. Most of them familiar faces. Speaking of those I knew, we joked about the theme of the meeting, as many of us did not care for rap and failed to see the purpose of being invited to a private meeting to discuss the future of hip-hop. Talk to them. Among the attendees was a small group of unfamiliar faces who stayed to themselves and made no attempt to socialize beyond their circle. Based on their behavior and formal appearances, they didn't seem to be from our industry. Our casual chatter was interrupted when we were asked to sign the confidentiality agreement, preventing us from publicly discussing the information presented during the meeting. Needless to say, this intrigued, in some cases, disturbed many of us. The agreement was only a page long, but very clear on matters and consequences, which stated that violating the terms would result in job termination immediately.
That secrecy shit, man. I tell you, all of the videos, it's very surprising to see these celebrities coming out and speaking, because these take the oath. Everybody always calls it the oath, but it's literally like a sworn to secrecy. And if you do snitch and you do expose it blatantly, like the way that he's doing right now, you're in danger. He's telling a story that was told to him, to us. Let's continue.
We asked several people what this meeting was about and the reason for such secrecy, but could not find anyone who had the answers for us. A few people refused to sign and walked out. Nobody stopped them. I was tempted to follow, but curiosity got the best of me. That's right. A man who was part of the unfamiliar group collected all the agreements from us. So now it's going to get to the good part because the meeting about to start. Talk to him, Jake. It says, quickly after the meeting began, hold on one second. Get your popcorn, y'all. Popcorn, get your pistol. No, for real now. Quickly after this meeting began, one of the industry colleagues, who shall remain nameless like everybody else, thanked us for attending. He then gave the floor to a man who only introduced himself by first name and gave no other details about his personal background. I think he was the owner of the residence, but that was never confirmed. He briefly praised all of us for the success we had achieved in our industries and congratulated us for being selected as part of this small group of decision makers. At this point, I began to feel slightly uncomfortable and the strangeness of this gathering. The subject quickly changed as the speaker went on to tell us that the respective companies we represented had invested in a very profitable industry, which could become even more rewarding with our active involvement. Damn. He explained that the companies we worked for had invested millions into the building of privately owned prisons, and that our positions of influence in the music industry would actually impact the profitability of these investments. Wow. Then he says, I remember many of us in the group immediately looking at each other in awe and confusion. At the same time, I didn't know what a private prison was, but I wasn't the only one. Sure enough, someone asked what these prisons were and what any of this had to do with music. We were told that these prisons were built by privately owned companies who received funding from the government based on the number of inmates. Mm-hmm. The more inmates, the more the government would pay these prisons.
Mm-hmm. This is the same thing I was talking about when we reacted to Kendrick Lamar, N95, all right? Kendrick Lamar always speaks about the struggles of the hood and doesn't seem to speak about it as a way to get out, but in terms actually glorifies the lifestyle that he had to go through, glorifies, you know, the street life and stuff like that. That in itself is promoting an agenda. A lot of these kids look up to these rappers, like really think about this real quick. A lot of these kids, a lot of these teenagers look up to these rappers on some gang shit, toting pistols, walking around with choppers, 50-round drums. That's what all of these rappers speak about. Keep it on you. Got a 45, keep a 50 on me. Like, all of these rappers speak about that. And I want you to pay attention to how every single
Kinder Joy, a yummy treat and out-of-this-world toys to ignite your kids' imagination.
generation has been getting younger and younger and younger with their involvement in crime, bro. Like, the shit is actually kind of scary. Now that I think about it fully, like, there are so many kids in high school getting arrested. So many kids, mass shootings. Like, this is not normal. This is influence of rap, influence of video games, influence of all these outside and external factors. The influence that these artists have on the younger generation is insane. Truly insane.
It was also...
And that's what I say. The people in these meetings are what we would call puppets. The people in these meetings who were given that contract to sign, that NDA where they can't say shit, but yet they want to be a part of this agenda. That is what a puppet is. Meg Thee Stallion, Kendrick Lamar, Cardi B, all of these rappers, Polo G, all of these rappers. Let's continue, bro.
Made clear to us that since these prisons are privately owned, as they become publicly traded, we'd be able to buy shares. Most of us were taken back by this. Again, a couple of people asked what this had to do with us. At this point, my industry colleague who had first opened the meeting took the floor again and answered our questions. He told us that since our employees had become silent investors in this prison business, it was now in their interest to make sure that these prisons remain filled. Our job would be to help make this happen by making music which promote criminal behavior, rap being the music of choice. He assured us that this would be a great situation for us because rap music was becoming an increasingly profitable market for our companies, and as employees, we also be able to buy stocks in these prisons. Immediately, silence came over the room. You could have heard a pin drop. I remember looking around to make sure I wasn't dreaming and saw half of the people with dropped jaws. My daze was interrupted when someone shouted, "Is this a fucking joke?" At this point, things became chaotic.
Right.
Two of the men who were part of the unfamiliar group grabbed the man who shouted and attempted to remove him from the house. A few of us, myself included, tried to intervene. One of them pulled out a gun, and we all backed off. They separated us from the crowd, and all four of us was escorted outside. My industry colleague who opened up the meeting earlier hurried out to meet us and reminded us that we had signed an agreement and would suffer the consequences of speaking out about this publicly or even those who attended the meeting.
Okay.
I asked him, why was he involved with something so corrupt? And he replied, it's bigger than the music business and nothing we can do. And no, it's bigger than the music business and nothing we want to challenge without risking consequences. We all protested as we walked back into the house. I remember word for word the last thing he said. It's out of my hands now. Just remember you signed an agreement. He then closed the door behind him. The men rushed us to our car and actually waited until we drove off the property.
Damn.
So this meeting, bro.
Now that's a lot for a meeting right there.
Oh yeah, definitely. You know, and this person later on, he said, you know, this person actually ended up leaving the music industry after this happened. A few years after this, he ended up leaving the music industry.
Okay.
And he said he just, like, you know, over the years, he just felt guilty because he said as he sat back and he watched these plans come to a reality.
Over 2 decades.
He sat back and was like, wow, they really pulled it off.
Yeah.
they really pulled this off. He was like, they were told.
Yo, trust me, people are willing to do anything for money. If it's not you, it's definitely gonna be him. If it's not you, it's definitely going to be him. They're going to find their way to have these. That's what an industry plant is, all right? When I speak to you guys about agendas and these industry plans promoting agendas, this is exactly what they're for. All they need is a person to find that has a decent size enough following, push them to be. Lil Nas X was willing to be sucking my beat. Lil Nas X came out the closet 1 year and blew up. Blew up, my boy. Like, I don't think y'all realize that. He came out the closet 1 year and the next year went viral. Everything he drops is viral. He's promoting an entire agenda, bro. A lot of these artists who are mainstream are promoting agendas. Same thing with Cardi B. She was a stripper, had one song, and went viral. Bodak Yellow or some shit. All of these artists that are mainstream, most of these artists that are top A-list celebrities are puppets. All of them are being put in place to fulfill certain agendas just like the ones that we just heard, bro. This is not me making this shit up. This is the stuff that we're hearing firsthand. But let's continue.
Not to sign any more political rappers, any more rappers that had messages in their music.
Positivity.
It was all to be gangster rap music that they promoted and put out.
So if you wonder where Brand Nubians went, where Poor Righteous Teachers went, where Public Enemy went, where KRS-One went, and all sorts of groups like that was talking, even Queen Latifah and Moni Love and those, you know what I'm saying? It's a back door.
Yeah, anything that was harmless, fun rap, anything that had a message in it had to go.
Yeah, that's why if you even notice though, now
we talk about that all the time.
Even be brief with it, you know what I'm saying? Those charms that came out like maybe in 1988, 89, the African charms, those they lasted for about 2 years and they disappeared real quick.
Look, man, I'm gonna end this video right here. All right,